So our real focus has been on the live video experience and streams. So we'll have 3 of those during every large event. We did that during Sandy as well as during the conventions and debates and of course election night, giving our users a different mix of things. So on election night it was the on-air broadcast as well as our own original digital broadcast that we were doing, plus a graphics display where people could just see the map at all times and where the election was going. During the conventions themselves we either did different our own broadcast, you could see the raw speeches, or in some cases during a hurricane, since we've had a lot of weather lately, you were actually able to see from our New Orleans affiliate what was happening on the coastline there, so you could get a different news experience at the same time. We find that by bringing in Storify and some of the other partners we were using, whether that was like live polling through GoPollGo or some other things, just helps to enhance the experience as much as possible. So we like to experiment with as much of that as we can. We feel like we know our users want more of a live experience. Obviously we are a video company, that's what we do. So it's obviously very important to us, whether that's video on demand or a live experience. We're very good at giving clips and some of the larger pieces of what we're doing on television, a lot of originals that we're actually shooting ourselves, whether on our own or through our partnership with Yahoo. So people want video. Our advertisers want it, our users want it. The live experience just adds a different element. There's obviously large events that we're doing. We will give you those speeches, we will give you the analysis around that. We've also found that continuing to blow out those experiences is helpful. So we'll do a noon pre-show, for example, so people know what they should be looking at. We'll also add a kind of product and editorial elements into that. We did for the election night something called the signs that we started a few days earlier. These are the types of things that you should be looking for, whether they're specific and kind of wonky as, you know, look at Hamilton County in Ohio and what that means, or they can be, you know, who's taller, the Redskins won, some of those other, where the unemployment numbers are. Some of those are interesting signs that people can look at as they go into the election. We also do a day after show of everything we're doing, so whether that's for Sandy, whether that's for the conventions or the election itself, which is a live update of what had happened, so you can get up to speed. Also what people are saying about it, and that can be as serious as some of the tweets and some of the poll numbers that might come out after, or some of the funnier memes and things that are happening, so people really have an update on what's going on. I think you'll see ABC News continue to explore those areas, whether those around events or just kind of general news or general reactions, if you will, from our users, and continue to bring them into the conversation. I think something we find particularly interesting, which we experimented a lot with during the election cycle, was Google Hangouts. And during the debates, for example, we actually had different audiences set up to talk about what was happening. We did that during the conventions as well. Some were college Democrats and college Republicans, some were Latino audiences, we did an LGBT audience, we did a religious audience. We had those people talk amongst themselves and then bring them on for reaction, so we could actually start to hear what audiences were doing. We also experimented very heavily during all of Election Day, where we actually did Google Hangouts with 50 different people in 50 states to start to get that real, if you will, the real people commentary on what's happening. And it's not just a bunch of pundits and news people always talking, it's what do people really feel is happening.
And on the Hangouts, they were surfaced on your YouTube channel, and also where did that surface?
Within the stream itself. We also did it on our YouTube channel and obviously on Google+.
Cool. And give us an update on the whole Yahoo scenario, and particularly the original programming with Katie and different things. Tell us how that's, you know, give us a little update on that arrangement.
It's been great. We just had our 1-year anniversary, so I remember seeing you there on the first day of that. We've had a lot of success. Obviously the traffic has been phenomenal. We're doing a lot of these large events together. You know, we've had millions of live streams in each of these. I think just going back to the live piece, what's interesting to us is, you know, we're really rivaling cable news types of audiences when we do these, and election night itself, we had millions and millions of streams, so it was just an enormous event for us. As we continue to do the original series, those are obviously very successful, and we're starting to get more and more sponsorships around those, whether it's the Newsmaker series, which has been sponsored, Katie's show has been sponsored, and in the next few months you'll see us launch a few new series, I should say, as well. Your question was around what's driving news consumption. You know, it really depends. A lot of it is very topical. So, of course, you'll see during elections and during Sandy and during many other things that are happening in the world, it's going to drive people wanting to come there. Also, there's a discovery piece of this. You know, people are searching for things where, you know, financial cliff and a lot of those things are starting to enter the vernacular, and people want to know what that is, and that they'll discover news that way. And a lot of it is drawn by social, what people are talking about and how they can contribute into that. We like to be part of that conversation as much as possible. possible. We take Twitter very seriously, and Facebook and things like that, and contribute our stories into that, but also take those comments and those stories that are coming in from it. I think Sandy's a great example. Of course, I was living in the dark myself for a week, as were a lot of other people. A lot of people had a lot of damage. It was a very serious storm both before and after, and that's something where, you know, we can hear that reaction, we can also get pictures, we can get new stories, and we can make sure that we're covering things that people want. So I think it's a whole range and a whole spectrum. It's what I think is very interesting about digital. I think we're able to really inform and entertain that individual person and give them exactly what they need. And I think as you look at the next months and years, that's what ABC News is really doing in really a very special way to a mass audience, and with really that credibility behind it and that brand, and that talent that people know and trust, to really deliver those experiences. So we'll give very general and big things on television. We're getting much more personal and much more interesting and much more audience focused, as we talked about with Google Hangouts and things like that, to the individual. And that's what's exciting us, and that's what we're continuing to do through product and through editorial.